What's up, everybody? I am back here to talk about another regional, and today it is going to be the Lawrence Regional, of course, hosted by the Kansas Jayhawks. What a story to see Kansas hosting a regional. I can't wait for this to get started. They have Arkansas as well, who many are arguing could even be the favorite in this one. You got Missouri State, a really intriguing team. Northeastern as well, who had an amazing 2025 season, solid in 2026. So many good teams, so much to talk about. Let's get a little bit more into it. How can I not start with the Kansas Jayhawks 42 and 16 in the overall, as well as 22 and 8 in the Big 12 conference? Now they were really steady throughout the year, other than the West Virginia series that happened pretty recently where they got swept at home. That was a big deal. They also lost to Texas Tech in a series, which is also pretty bad considering how the Red Raiders season has gone. But it's not to shy away from the fact they have had some really good ones as well. They beat Nebraska twice. They beat UCF. They beat Cincinnati. Some pretty solid wins. They've been really streaky throughout the year, as I just kind of mentioned. And they also have a really good offense, which is important to note. And yeah, it's a team that has a lot of intrigue. I think it's going to be really fun to watch, whether they're good or bad. They have Tyson LeBlanc as their main hitter. He does a great job for this team. And yeah, I mean, this team has tons of potential. They could also fall flat on their face. We will see. Next up are the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, when I was doing my predictions of whether they would host a regional, I had them as high as like 9 or something crazy. I couldn't believe that they didn't end up hosting and getting the Fayetteville Regional back. But yeah, they're going to be going to Kansas, not too far from them. They, of course, have had a really good year, 39 and 20, 17 and 13. They've been pretty hot as of recently, streaky throughout the year. They were just in the SEC championship, got slaughtered by Georgia, not going to lie. But yeah, I mean, they went really far. Being a conference champion in the SEC and not hosting a regional, I think is kind of crazy, especially considering some of these wins that they've gotten. Taking out Mississippi State, who's a regional host, Alabama, who is also a regional host, a top 8 host too. Ole Miss, who's like one of the top 2 seeds, and then Oklahoma, who's had a solid year as well. But of course, they have lost some bad series. They lost to Georgia, Auburn, Florida. None of them are bad, but yeah, I mean they aren't perfect, of course. And yeah, it just kind of shows, they haven't lost any dumb series, which I think is great. But they also haven't gone any like iconic wins. I guess, Mississippi State or Alabama kind of would be like that. But yeah, I mean they've had a good year. Of course, they have Ryder Helfrich, who's been unbelievable for them this season. Cannon Koziel as well. This Arkansas team is really good, and I definitely think they're pretty much on par with Kansas. Next up is Missouri State, a team that went 34 and 19 overall, 20 and 10 in their conference. Now, the weird thing about Missouri is they got to win over Louisiana, a series win, which is great. But unfortunately, that's kind of all they got. They haven't really beaten anybody outside of them, and they're also really inconsistent throughout the year. Yeah, I mean they've lost some pretty bad series. Jacksonville State, who is a good team, Dallas Baptist, decent team as well. Louisiana Tech, who's all right, and then Ole Miss, who's a 2 seed. That's not really a bad loss. But yeah, Missouri State, unfortunately, they haven't really gotten the wins that you would have expected from a team that really wants to compete kind of as a 3 seed. Like they give me vibes of a team that should be competing, but unfortunately, they just don't have the enough wins at the top to be able to compete. I will say though, their roster is pretty legit. They have Curry Sutherland, Carter Bergman, and Tage Golert as their kind of big 3 in terms of hitting. They've all done a great job this year. Really solid roster, good team. Unfortunately, don't have the iconic wins to show for it. And finally, we have Northeastern, a team that I absolutely loved last year as they went like 48 and 9, I'm pretty sure. This year they haven't been as good, of course, 38 and 20, but they are still 22 and 8 in their conference. They have had a pretty good year. But it just kind of, it's just a little bit worse than last year, of course. They're pretty hot as of recently, which is pretty important, but very similar to last year. They haven't really beaten anybody. They did take down LSU once, but I feel like everybody has, you know what I mean? Their only bad series losses to Hofstra, though. They've just been pretty consistent, good 4 seed. You could maybe argue 3 seed, but I'm not going to go out here and pretend that Northeastern is the Cinderella story that I really thought they were last year. They do have Harrison Feenberg, who's been really good for them this year on the bats, but unfortunately, I don't think they have enough hitters, enough wins, enough real anything to compete with some of these top teams. I think this regional is very obvious, to be honest. I think it is very close between Kansas and Arkansas, but I do think that Missouri State and Northeastern are a far step down. Now it's Kansas, Arkansas, Kansas has proven it more in their conference. Arkansas has some really good wins. I really like both these teams, to be honest. I'm gonna give the edge to Kansas barely. Well, Arkansas definitely is been there more. It feels like Arkansas seems to fold under pressure a lot in the tournament, and Kansas has been rising to the occasion. I really thought West Virginia was going to take them down in the Big 12 championship, but Kansas just absolutely dominated. They got out of really, bad jams. There was bases loaded, I think, multiple times, especially early in the game. And this Kansas team just fought through it, even after getting swept just a few weeks before. This Kansas team is really resilient. I think at home they always have a good atmosphere, and I really think that is going to end up helping them out. And so, yeah, I'm going to give Kansas the slight edge to win their home regional this year. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this series this weekend, starting things on Friday. And stay tuned on this channel if you want more regional predictions.